Marshall skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.
Welcome back to another episode of the TGIF podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the week treated you, my bro?
Yeah, good. I guess we've officially.
Oh,
we're getting there. We're missing Ben.
Still close to laugh, that's for cough sure.
And sneezes, hiccups. That's a newfound one. I found the hiccups isn't too good on the old ribs, but we're getting there. Missing being out on the golf course, that's for sure. I'm looking forward to getting back out there and pumping some drives. But I guess we've seen the end of rugby league for 2024. And I believe with that we've got some special belated NRL news to bring you at some stage. But we did see the end of the Pacific Championships over the weekend, and it was a nail-biting one there. 30 minutes into that second game there for Kiwis fans.
It was there was a certain sort of 5-10 minute period there where I thought, shit, if the Kiwis are
we could be relegated.
We'll be relegated. That fucking,
that's outrageous.
Div 2, 80-90 nilling the poor Cookies and Fijians, maybe not the Fijians, but those two sides put on quite the score against the Cookies. I'd be terrified to see.
Yeah, it would have been pretty
from their perspective,
pretty outrageous, especially when you see that the quality in that first game.
Yeah, no, it was a good first game there. Unfortunately, although the crowd came out in force yet again for Tonga, it was good to see,
which was cool.
The hymns blasting through the speakers at home. If you're watching it at home, if you're at the stadium, I'm sure that atmosphere was.
Oh, it would have been electric.
Yeah, pretty first class. But it wasn't the fairy tale on the field, but Tonga doing a great job off the field, and really bringing the spotlight to the international game. It was a good game in the end, I think. Possibly scoreline maybe makes it look a little bit more favourable than it was, but the Tongans had some chances.
Definitely.
Early on, they started the better of the two sides, I thought, and then probably finished the better of the two sides as well. But just that middle period there, Aussie, a bit of a theme of their sort of campaign clinical when they had the ball,
especially around that end of the first half. Sides start to get a little bit tired. Yeah, some big fellas out on that Tongan team, and it's getting pretty hot now this time of year. So, Aussies just seem to sort of be able to pounce, I guess, a little bit during that stage in the game. And you're probably right. Maybe a little bit more favourable than what it was, but I think definitely they were definitely the side to go up against Aussie. I think compared to what we saw from Tonga in two games compared to what we put up against them, I think they were the best shout to try and go out there and get the win. But also, I guess, pretty expected result, I think, going into the championships was that Aussie were going to get the win, especially after, them needing to bounce back from being drubbed by us in their last show.
Yeah, it's not too often you see the Aussies miss back-to-back trophy opportunities. Few and far between they've been for the Kiwis and other sides over the years. So yeah, you're right. It was probably an expected result, and then once you saw the squads being named, particularly the Kiwis one there, you probably tightened those Aussies as your hot favourites. But they got the job done. They were pretty good on the day, pretty good all tournament really. I thought the two Tommies were particularly outstanding on the night. Tommy Trbojevic there in the centre roaming role, and Tommy Dearden. All three games really, I reckon. He was probably Australia's best player.
I was going to say good for Manly in terms of the fact that he's managed to get through unscathed, Tommy Turbo there, but I guess that difference of playing in centre compared to playing at the back there. But I mean, hey, they've got a pretty good looking fullback there in Kohler, Manly. Maybe that's
the bloke who was playing for Tonga. Hopewadi.
Exactly. They've got a selection there of good young outside backs that could fit in there and do the job, and move Tommy into the centres could be a look there for next year possibly. It's possibly we've seen him play some of his best footy, when he's been playing that rep stuff, but. You're probably right. I'd say they were probably the two best on the day. I'd say.
Yeah, hard to go past them. Particularly those sweeping breaks that Dearden was front and centre of is just causing heaps of havoc for Tonga's right edge defence there. Look, probably Australia's best player throughout the campaign. I think that's really gonna, lay down a marker for him that, even though Queensland and Australia do have a bloke named Cam Munster who'll be itching to get those red jerseys back, Tommy Dearden, it's going to be hard to claw it off him after the...
Yeah, he's had
3 games he's strung together. He's good in Origin.
He's had a season.
He's very good in Origin.
Tommy Dearden, so I think you're probably right. It will be hard to get that back off him. Is Cam Munster probably straight in there in terms of that incumbency? Probably.
Probably just based on what he can do.
Yeah, it's you saw at stages this year when they were missing in Melbourne, and then when he was there, what the difference that he made. But it's a tough call.
It's different playing alongside Moses and DCE, but there's potential that DCE retires. Him and Munster could pair up in the half for Queensland, which is a scary prospect for the Blues.
That would be a tasty looking combo.
Yeah, scary for the Blues, I guess. But well done, Tommy. Both of them, great games. Although for the Tongans, another outstanding game from Olakau'atu, and with such a small sample size, just the 3 games for each nation this year. He's a pretty good shout for Golden Boot, I reckon.
I think, I don't know, do they announce?
I don't know if they announce a shortlist.
They just go out there and pull it out a little bit later on. Just quickly this year, probably become my favourite player, I would say.
Favourite non-Tiger or just in general? Don't like any Tigers at the moment. Lockie Galvin.
It'd be up there in my top 3, I'd say. That's a tough one. It's hard to say that a Tigers player is my favourite player at this period and being a Tigers supporter. It's very easy to pick someone that's not donning the orange and black there, but I'd say Olakau'atu, he's a freak with the ball in hand. Some of the hits that he can put on is outrageous. He's quick for someone that size. Just the power that he's got is just outrageous. If the Tigers were going to go out and get one player, I'd snap him up like that. 100%. It would be...
It's a huge call when there's blokes running around by the name of Nathan Cleary, Reece Walsh.
I'd love a bit of Olakau'atu there in the orange and black. I just think it would chuck him in the halves if you need someone in there to play with the eye.
I think we have seen him put the ball to boot before.
We have seen him put
up a bomb potentially.
Yep, we have seen him put a little kick in there. So, I think a player like him you could probably chuck anywhere on the field and he's going to have an impact. Kiwis, I was going to say, could have done with someone like him there on Saturday, but ended up getting the job done. Sunday, sorry, not Saturday. Getting the job done. I'm assuming got a bit of not a spray as such, but probably a bit of a kick up the arse there at half time and said, look, come on lads, you've got to go out there and show them what you're made of. And it took a kid on debut to go out there and seal the deal.
Yeah, look, it was pretty outstanding. It must have been a good river, although to be fair we did run into quick tries just before half time, so
that definitely sort of swayed the game. Up until then,
possibly
it was that nervy stage.
Stacey off a little bit, you might have copped a bigger spray coming in 10-6. No disrespect to the PNG boys there, but it was a bit of a step up in class for them. It was compared to...
It was that first 20-25 minutes of just pure like emotion and passion from PNG that had them in
We
it,
started
I think.
really well the first 5 minutes, and then they clawed their way back into it really well. And at 10-6, they crossed the line. Well, they had one that was awarded and then brought back for offside.
Yeah.
They had another couple of chances they could have scored. So
It was
a little bit
nervy
nervous.
times.
25, 30 minutes in there, you're thinking, shit, what's going on here? Have the Kiwis sort of underprepared, maybe taken it a bit light? But yeah, ran in those couple of tries. Keanu Kinney and Casey McLean on debut, 4 tries. Obviously, don't want to be disrespectful to PNG, but
Casey
it's a hell of a...
couple of very good finishes in there as well. But yeah, one which is probably quite good to see, you know, for most Kiwis fans out there. One last great pass there from Sean Johnson as well to set up one of those tries, you know. Which
Sean Johnson had the ball on a string.
He
again, like
one of his best games he's played all year.
Yeah,
I think, and it's pressure free Sean Johnson. You know, when there's nothing on, not that there's nothing on the line. I mean, obviously there's lots on the line, but you know, he knew that was his second last hurrah. You know. First one didn't go as planned. They lost it. They lost the last game, right?
I think they won.
They won, did they?
Oh, they might have lost.
I can't remember. It's not even that long ago. We'll go in our round 27.
I'm fairly sure they won.
Who did they play in that last game? Oh God, don't look at that. They had to buy. So that's maybe that was the game that they won that you're thinking of.
It was round 26. Yeah, they beat the Sharks. And Sean Johnson had a few, and he gave the try assist for Dallin to score the last try.
Okay. So his last hurrah did go well, but
yeah,
last hurrah,
pretty good last hurrahs.
Last hurrah for the Kiwis, and set up a nice second try, but you're probably right. It's not really the opposition that you're wanting to be, I guess, coming up against, you know, as a Kiwis player. But a lot of time now for those injured players that we were missing to come back over the off season. Hopefully, a pretty strong looking Kiwis contingent out there at the start of the NRL season next year, and when we do get to a little bit of international footy this time next year, hopefully we're seeing in a slightly different position. Yeah,
you think you'd bring Leota, Brandon Smith into that forward pack there. Back row Sorensen and Papali'i's probably full strength. Tapani 13. But the key is really the halves.
It's that halves period.
You've got Jarome Hughes and Dylan Brown to come in.
Yep. And that's
Keanu Kinney obviously showing some really good signs at the back. Shame Joey Manu's no longer around, but potentially won't be too long before he's back in rugby league if you believe the rumours.
Well, we did see an outstanding performance there on the weekend from Suali'i
for the Wallabies.
For the Wallabies, which, you know, some might have been touting, you know, but some possibly maybe thinking that
he came through playing Union.
He's come through from Union, and that's the big thing a lot of people forget, I think, is that, you know, he's obviously that's what he's grown up playing, but, you know, a couple of years away from the game, and you know, some of those league habits may have popped in, but seeming to do pretty well there in that win up against England.
Yeah, didn't watch it, so I can't really comment on it, but from what I've read, he played pretty well.
The exact same. I don't think I've actually seen any videos of it, but I've read a few little match reports and seen the odd posts that I've scrolled on by, so he's gone out there.
Doesn't look half bad in the Wallabies jersey, doesn't. You know, it's not one of those.
No, it's not a weird. But that could just be also that, you know, maybe if he'd stayed in the NRL for another 5-6 years and then you see the switch, maybe that's when it comes in a little bit. Obviously, still young, still fresh. We'll probably see him win an NRL one day, I would imagine. I'd imagine he probably. Yeah. You know, I highly doubt the Wallabies go out there and win the next World Cup. You know, but then my international rugby.
If the Wallabies throw another 7-8 million at him to stick around for a few more years.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. You know, it depends on whether he's
getting handsomely rewarded, as we all know.
But you know, if they were to go out there, win a World Cup, when's the next one? 2028.
2027.
2027.
It's in Australia as well.
So, you know, they go up there, they win that, and then, you know, boom, oh, you want to come back to the Roosters, mate? You know? Oh, you know, Benji goes, mate,
he's not here.
You want to come fucking and play for us? We've just won back-to-back titles, you know what I mean? Like, you know, come and join us. Luai's 6 on the trot, you know, something like that. Come and join us. So who knows what we'll see, but when do we next get back into a little bit of footy? We must be what? February?
February would be pre-season.
February is usually when we get into a pre-season. I know that the Tigers have already started their pre-season training.
Pre-season and then Vegas.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see a Tigers
March.
pre-season game here in New Zealand. It tends to be the case. Ideally, it's up these ways
Last
again.
time it was Christchurch.
Last time it was Christchurch, and I didn't go, which was silly. But I think, you know, I'm sure there'll be another one there next year. But that is it for this year. But there is obviously in the off season. There's, you know, a couple of players that you're probably going to keep your eye on. That might be, you know, after a new little deal. Benny Hunt, probably one of those ones. Obviously, he'll be off somewhere.
Yeah, look, just kept forgetting to mention it really. Kept slipping my mind as we were chatting Pacific Champs. But yeah, lots of talk whether he ends up at the Broncos. The Dolphins there seem to be linked quite heavily. It's an interesting one.
I mean, I can see.
Does he go somewhere with a really good 7 and play 9 and try and win a comp, or does he back himself to?
What does he want to play?
7 to go.
What does he want to play? Do you think 9 or 7?
To be fair, I think now he realizes that he just wants out of the Dragons.
and he'll play prop if he needs to, or he'll play fullback. Or I think he's possibly also at that stage where he'll happily play in the halves if there's the hooker there to back it up, or he'll play a hooker if the halves are there. You know, he'll play where he's best fit, I think, rather than letting his ego.
I don't think he'll be as happy to play 9, but I feel like just to get out of the Dragons, to get into, like, if he comes to the Tigers, no way he's playing 9.
No.
You know, if he goes to
but you know,
Penrith,
having Luai together or having Galvin as a tasty looking combination there in your halves with Uppy as your 9, never gonna happen.
I don't think Ben Hunt's
but hey, Ivan Cleary's calling me. Do you want to come and play hooker with Nathan as your 7?
Yeah, or
you go.
You want to come up, you know, Madge gets on the phone, hey mate, come be my 9 for a year. Reno's got one last year left in him.
You know, something like that. So
I'll give you a
it's interesting to see where he'll end up.
If he goes to the Dolphins, probably slots in the halves with Katoa there.
Yep.
Possibly.
Yep.
7-6.
The old head and the young gun in there. Yeah. That's a pretty tasty looking combo.
I've obviously got Marshall King, but then Katoa and Nicarima were going pretty well for a while. Slipped off towards the end of the season.
It'll be interesting to see where he does end up.
I reckon
an asset to any team he goes to.
I reckon it'll be Brisbane. I reckon they'll pull it out.
A lot of talk about is this new NRL team that's going to be coming in. The 18th team. It's not going to be next year, is it? They can't be bringing.
All of the bids were shit according to.
Well, apparently, what's his name? Graham Lowe's got this Orcas team ready to go. South Island.
Valandis reckons they're shit.
Shitter than the PNG team, you reckon, as well? Or?
Well, PNG team have... The thing is, if it's a PNG team, the Aussie and American government
will pay.
Pump in millions of dollars so that China stays out of Pacific.
Yeah.
So PNG's got the money behind them, but then again, it's like the whole you can't really
Can you be having a full?
You don't want to be saying it, but you don't want to be the poor bloke that has to move and live in PNG.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not as nice of a country to live in compared to Australia.
But are they? And then that's the thing. You can't go, we're basing them out of Cairns.
Yeah.
Because that's not really a PNG team. It's a Northern Territories team.
Yeah, and then I suppose even if you've based
the fact do you want to be living in the Northern? Do you really want to be living in the Northern Territories? Is it going to be much better than if you're up there?
Northern Territories bloody hot.
Is it going to be much better than living in PNG? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, ideally you're thinking, oh, I'm moving to Aussie, I'm living on the Gold Coast, I'm living in Sydney. You know what I mean?
Melbourne and a pinch.
To be fair, Melbourne seems pretty shit. It sounds cold, it sounds wet.
Melbourne's a cool city.
It seems a bit like Wellington, I think, where people from Melbourne love it and everyone else kind of thinks it's shit. I mean, I've never even been to Wellington, I've been to the airport, but like from what my understanding...
Having been to both Wellington and Melbourne, similar vibes.
Similar vibes? The same as that like coffee, indie sort of vibe, you know?
Yeah.
The dudes fucking...
But Melbourne's got a lot of cool shit.
The dudes roll their pants up, you know what I mean? And then wear socks like you wear that you can't see underneath your shoes, you know? Or they wear like fritty socks. You know, they're probably like wearing a beanie in November, like that sort of shit, you know? November, December beanie wearing, like shoes on the beach, I'd imagine. That sort of stuff going on in Melbourne and Wellington. I mean, yeah, I've never been, but it doesn't sound really overly appealing to me. I'd probably, I don't know, would I rather live in Northern Territories than Melbourne? Probably not.
I'm definitely moving to Melbourne over the Northern Territory.
That's where I was going.
Kansas, Queensland.
Do we see Ben Hunt in Christchurch? Maybe that's what I was going for. You know, did the Orcas get a team in there, and we see him as the marquee player, and, you know, setting up shop down in, you know,
does Ben
Riccarton?
Yeah, does he see himself as the next Dan Carter?
Puts a penthouse on top of the Riccarton Mall or something like that. You know, that's where we see Ben Hunt basing himself
Set up shop.
Yeah, exactly. More movement though there at the Dragons though. We've seen Gutho. That's all official, isn't it? That he's.
Yep, he's been unveiled. Speaking of, you know, Suoli not looking so weird, I've heard others chat that Gutho looks weird in Dragons.
I think
it has kind of set in my head. Oh, he does look weird. But
can you get up a photo? I haven't seen him yet.
Yeah.
I'd imagine, yeah, he probably would look quite weird in Dragons gears.
Here we go.
Oh, that's just red though, not the white. I had white in my head. That's what I'm picturing.
Like the actual jersey.
Yeah, I mean, is that a real smile? Do you reckon?
Yeah. Look.
Do you reckon he's happy, or do you reckon he's cut?
I reckon he's
Both.
happy.
But do you reckon he's cut to be leaving them?
I think he'll obviously be a little bit cut. You know, you can't play for a club, captain them,
yeah,
get them to a grand final and leave without being a little bit cut about it. But I feel like he's probably also quite cut around the whole Brad Arthur situation, potentially.
Yeah,
I had a really good relationship with him. Don't know how.
Been a rough couple
of years. Don't know how Ralsty might have maybe come in, ruffled up a few feathers in the Gutho camp potentially, because it was a couple of weeks after Riles was announced, we started to hear Gutho release rumours, and
obviously it's been a rocky time there. In Eels country over the last couple of seasons.
Just to be fair to Sloan, look, I don't know what Flano's thinking, but yeah, I would be pretty shocked if Gutho doesn't line up at the back for us, and Sloan might move into a wing. Probably not centre, just because of his defensive deficiencies. But yeah, look, Gutho, huge signing.
Yeah, very big.
Possibly seen the best of his athletic days.
Oh, I think he'll still do well. He's got that experience hit on him as well, where he comes in and.
But still, I think he's still. I don't think he's 30 yet.
No, I don't think he'd be 29. Yeah. So you know, he's got a good few years left in him, and yeah, he'll come in and he'll just give you that extra bit of oomph, I think. He's got that experience of playing finals footy as well. So it's a good little leaf to add to the book. There's no doubt about that. Addo Carr, he's another one, I guess, at the moment that people are probably throwing around.
I've heard that we're out for him as well.
Well, he's officially released, is he?
Yeah.
He's currently without it. I can see him sort of going down the old Nofaluma route and, you know, starting to post weird shit on your Instagram, and, you know, we find out that Addo Carr's, you know, like great aunties from Estonia or something like that. And here we see him pulling on the Estonia jersey, you know. We've seen Nofaluma go up there and make the switch, play in England, not really do much. Playing.
Did he not get released for bad behaviour?
Yeah, got himself into a bit of trouble. Posted some story when we got our third spoon in a row, like posting with 3 fingers up like that, cooked in some nightclub, and then putting up local footy nets on footy goals in Serbia. I've seen with Nick Kotric, which is just a bit of a downfall for the bloke. I can see Ano Kar maybe going down that route possibly as well. You know, we find out he's part Estonian. He's playing over there in some sort of emerging nations World Cup qualifier or something like that in a couple of years.
Wow.
That's
a huge call.
That's a huge call, but that's sort of the
huge call. You know,
NRL players, they sort of, you know, if you're going to do something, you're going to go full tip usually. You know, they kind of don't really take it too easy. And he's definitely someone who's managed to roll up a few feathers wherever he's going at the moment. So a bit of a gamble, I think, for a few teams.
Stay tuned, yeah. Any Estonian rugby league teams out there,
I'm sure they'll be after him, that's for sure.
Get Ano Kar out, because we may have planted the seed here, but or you may have planted the seed. Can't say I had any contribution towards that idea, but yeah, I reckon we'll probably end up seeing him sign for an NRL side. Don't know if Estonia is on the cards.
Not on the cards.
You know, if it does happen, you heard it here first. Yeah, no, I've seen huge rumours that he might be off to the Dragons as well, Josh Ano Kar, so I'd be pretty stoked if we pulled that one out.
A handy player to have come in, obviously, with Lomax heading out. Losing
a few less tries on offer for the Dragons than maybe he might have in the Estonian leagues or emerging nations leagues, but
he'll definitely get himself involved.
He'll be earning a bit more.
He'll definitely get himself involved, I'm sure. Now, I said earlier on we had a little bit of belated news there for you, and you have managed to go back and collate all of those Team of the Week entries over the season. And we have got for you a 1 to 18 of our TGAF Team of the Season. Definitely some bias in there when you look at the players that are in there. Not really. A small amount of Dragons, Tigers bias, but you can put an argument in for all three. I think that we've got involved. I guess without further ado, we crack on into it, and we start off in a pretty contentious spot as it is at fullback, where we undernard over the two T's, Teddy and Turbo, and we've gone down the Tommy Trbojevic route, probably just based on the fact that Manly don't go as well without him being there than what the Roosters would have gone without Teddy, I think.
Yep, it's also a team of the season, I suppose. As you said, NRL team of the season, but he did have a good game on the weekend.
He did. So
the weekend was part of the season.
Recency bias. There you go.
So he's stuck over Teddy, seeing as Teddy was not very good on the weekend. Didn't have much impact at all, I believe. So I mean, certainly not as much as Tommy Turbo. So well done, Tommy. He's
Tommy Turbo,
first entry in the.
He is the first entry. Now you're moving into those wing positions there. One of these fellas, bit of a shoe-in, he'd probably make most teams there for their team of the season, and that is Brian Tor. He makes one of those wing slots his own there, and the other one is heading down that red and white side, and that's Zachy Lomax.
Yeah, don't think you get too many arguments about that one. Even though it was a Dragon.
I think that there'd be maybe some people might do a shout for like a Cam Pereira. The amount of tries he scored. Maybe you want to do a shout for Will Warbrick because they made the grand final.
Warbrick was in the running.
Maybe you want to do a shout out for what?
Kiraz was in there.
Kiraz,
3 or 4 times. Asako, yeah, no, to be fair, don't think he had too many appearances. Obviously racked up quite a fair few points.
Probably someone that, you could be arguing against, but I think, those two players there, Zaki Lomax obviously had
We've gone for the New South Wales wing pairing.
Pretty outstanding season there for the Dragons, and Brian Tour, probably one of the first names on your team sheet, I think, if you're picking your team of the season.
Yeah, shout out Zach Lomax, didn't even want to play wing at the start of the year.
There you go.
Now all of a sudden we're hearing he's happy to go and play wing at Parramatta.
Look what he's done for himself in a matter of a season. Now, moving into that centre pairing, we've got a double G theme going on here, which I hadn't noticed at the start.
Yeah.
Both players come in with 4 appearances, and that's Dane Gagai and Ruben Garrick. Gagai, maybe a name people might go, you can't have him in your team of the season. I think Garrick, probably someone who's probably a very fair shout. But there'd probably be some people that would say Gagai maybe doesn't deserve to be there.
Yeah, no, to be fair, Dango had a pretty good season. Newcastle managed to scrape their way into the 8 there after a little bit of up and down, and Caleb Potter missing a lot of that. So they had to get something out of someone, and Dane Gagai tended to
I'm just
deliver
more thinking that there's
often
possibly like a Herbie Farnworth.
I swear, yeah, to be fair, Herbie had a big injury, did he not?
But still, what he did in that set, he could have very easily come through. Had four appearances.
I'm pretty sure he had 3.
So someone like that. But Garrick, I think, he's sort of got a bit of everything in him now. He's a kicker. He can score a try. He can set up a try. Pretty decent defensively as well. So. And had himself a pretty good season there. And he's a player that's obviously had to step up over the last few years, with Tommy Turbo being in and out of the team with injuries and things like that. Having someone like Garrick there who can come in and can take over a role like that, I guess.
Yeah, possibly not at the same level as Turbo, but yeah, has certainly lifted his game over the last couple of years, that's for sure. Obviously a tasty looking outside 5 there, back 5, however you want to call it. And going into our 3rd G in a row, you might say.
Yeah, it is another G, yeah.
Our first half there, the 5'8". Young Lockie Galvin comes in.
Probably
Rookie of the Year.
Should be Rookie of the Year.
What was I going to say? Honorary Rookie of the Year?
Pretty silly rule, I think. Serving a band, you can't get an award like that. I think it's pretty outrageous, especially if most people would say that you deserve to win it and you missed 3 games or whatever it was. You had 3 games less than these other players you're up against, and you're not allowed to get it. Again, there's probably other 6s out there that you could have put in there instead. But I think, what did we win? 5 games this year, I think. Or did we win 4? Maybe 4 and 2 buys. What's that?
What did you finish with? Was it not like 18?
It might have been a bit more than that, actually.
18 points.
But
16, 18.
Those games that we win, there's your reason why. Lockie Galvin, 9 times out of 10. We didn't even win 10 games, so there you go. Less than 9 times out of 10. But he's the man you're after there for the Tigers. And I think if you chuck him in that halves pairing with Jerome Hughes, that's an outstanding looking pairing there.
100% Rookie of the Year and Dally M Player of the Year. Very tasty looking halves pairing. Obviously, Jerome Hughes is just turning into a very, very complete number 7. Pretty crazy running stats on the bloke for a half as well. I don't know if you've seen that stat. Since his debut, he's run for nearly twice as many metres as the next best half.
Jesus, that's outrageous. I mean, he's obviously got
that fullback upbringing.
Yeah, and that skill set to his game where he doesn't have to be the man there trying to sort of dictate the play. He can do it himself, which is pretty good. So that is a very, very tasty looking back line there. There's no doubt about it. And we've got a forward pack to complement it now. Starting off in that hooking role,
I'm just going to go out and say it. Definitely most
sort of controversial.
No doubt about it, most
out-there
controversial.
selection of the year.
I can think of, I mean, you could probably nearly shout Coruscant in there over him, and he didn't even have that great of a season. Jacob Little made the most appearances in the team of the week, coming with a very solid and respectable 5 appearances this year, and without a doubt his breakthrough season, I think, in terms of showing, being able to play a whole year, pretty much. I think injured there for a little bit in the season, but nothing like what we've seen where he's played 4 games and then, fucking broken his neck or something like that and he's out for a year. I don't think he's even done that, but you understand where I'm going with that. So you've been able to see him playing a team that's not fighting it out for the spoon as well. Involved in a bit of finals footy and had a really awesome season.
Yeah, not quite involved in finals footy, unfortunately, but in the mix. 5 appearances, manages to sneak his way in. As controversial as it is, as you said, a bit of a breakout season for him. Quite a number of, as with Lockie Galvin, when Little played well, the Dragons tended to win this year, so it was awesome to see for a Red V fan such as myself. But shout out to him. He'll obviously have a bit tougher next year with Cookie coming in.
But hey, if he's got these lads here around him, I'm pretty sure he'll be in cruise control.
Oh, I'd love to have this team for the Dragons.
Jacob Little, he'll be in cruise control, especially with these 2 big fellas there running either side of him. Terrell May and Mitch Barnett. Now, Terrell May probably getting in there on that first half of the season where he had a little batch of games there where I think he scored, 2 tries?
Yeah, he had the golden touch there.
2 tries in each game. Just involved in everything there for the Roosters, and they were putting on, they won, they scored 100 points in 2 weeks, I think it was there at that stage of the season. And, probably fell off a little bit there at the end of the season, but taking one of the popping roles, and then Mitch Barnett, who was just consistent the whole year round. He's even managed to get in here ahead of his Warriors teammate in Fenwell Blake.
Yeah, his Warriors teammate, his future Warriors teammate, and Fisher Harris as well. So that's 2 pretty good shows to knock off.
And 2 double barrels. 2 double barrels, eliminated there from those 2 players. So 2 very worthwhile selections there, I think, in the team this year.
And you want to talk about a breakout, Mitch Barnett at the age of 29, 30, really coming through, getting his Origin debut and having himself a good couple of games for the Kangaroos as well. So
and obviously ever-present force there for the Warriors as well. And 2 very tasty looking props there to slot either side of young Jacob there. And moving into that back row, we've already spoken about him this evening, Ola Kawadu, probably the first name I think on your team sheet there. And then Katoa, another bloke who's a bit of a try scoring machine there, and had a couple of weeks there in a row scoring lots of tries. So Ola Kawadu and Katoa, it's a pretty awesome looking back row there.
Yeah, the Tongan back row from the Pacific Championships there. So a pretty tasty looking pair of back rows. Obviously a shitload of skill between the 2 of them and a shitload of size as well. You're probably looking at about 230 kilos, about 12 feet, 13
outrageous,
feet.
A lot of surface area covered just from those 2 blokes.
2 big boys, and they're coming at you with their bags of tricks, so well done to them. Rounding out the team there, the bloke with the equal
highest
amount of appearances.
Probably taking your captain's armband, I'd say as well. He's your leader of your team.
Probably the obvious choice there.
He's the leader of his team. He's the leader of his state. I believe not this. No, he's not.
Jakey was, but he probably will be.
He probably will be.
He was the leader of his country.
He was the leader of his country. and you don't get any further than that, do we? We don't go any higher than country, I believe, in rugby league.
No World 13
No
to get
World
yourself
13
involved
to
in.
get yourself involved in. Probably do a very good job at being a captain of the World 13 as well, and that's Isaiah Yeo, coming in tied there, as you said, with 6 appearances this year. So he rounds out what makes a very, very awesome looking 13. But as we said, we've gone the extra mile. We've given you a bench. We've even gone out there and given you an 18th man as well. That 14 role, it's always controversial in rugby league. How do you play it? Are you running 4 forwards on your bench? You know, are you going for like a two props, two back rowers sort of scenario?
Are you just going straight power, banking on those
Have you got 2 really unfit props and you're running 3 props in a back row? You know? Seems very silly, really.
It would have been done before.
But it would have been done before. Are you going kind of just generic with your utility role in the 14 and then, you know, 2 big fellas and a back row that can do a bit of everything? Or are you going sort of this new age style that we've seen at stages where you've got 2 backs on your bench there, you know?
Are we going Billy Slater on this?
You know, yeah, so, you know, there's a bit of different ways you can do it, but we've just gone conventional, we've gone a little bit old fashioned, we've gone for your 2 big men, we've gone for a back row that can do a little bit of everything, and we've just gone for that conventional utility player who's already been spoken about this evening, and that's Benny Hunt taking that 14 jersey, with the thinking of being able to come in, do a little bit of play there for Jacob Little, and also being able to come in and, you know, slot in there in that halves pairing if an injury of Joe Arms pulls up, maybe, you know, that he's had before, or, you know, Lockie Galvin goes out there and puts himself in a position where he gets a ban, you know, Benny Hunt coming on and doing the job in there. So here's your 14.
I think if you're going just quietly on ability alone, you're probably starting Ben Hunt over Jacob Little there. But,
well and truly, but I think as well,
Ben Hunt's
just
going
that
to have to sit there based on the hierarchy of,
and the adaptability. I think that's a big thing as well. Being able to take on that 14 role, it's just as important as that 9 role, I think, in this team. You've then got your 2 big men, and it's the 2 blokes we spoke about before. Your 2 double barrels, AFB and JFH. Both coming in with 4 votes, just falling short to Terrell May and Mitch Barnett there. But 2 very, very good impact players to come on 25 minutes into a game after the other 2 have gone out there and put some big hits in. You've got those 2 coming on together, fresh, you know.
Oh, you'd be shitting your pants if you're an opposition lineup, seeing James Fisher-Harris and Fanua Blake charging on fresh as daisies.
It would be a sight to see. There's no doubt about it. Especially knowing that you've got Angus Crichton there as well in that last bench role, also with those fresh legs ready to come on and replace the likes of an Olaquata or a Katoa. You know, it's a pretty formidable looking team. Then you want to go out there and you want to play it dirty, and you think, all right, well, they surely can't have anyone too flash there at 18th man. We're going to go out there, we're going to try and, you know, get a few injuries to some high tackles. Boom, you're bringing on your 18th man. Who is it? Probably, you know, voting wise, deserves to be in that 14 role, but because we've gone conventional, he had to drop down into that 18th position. Could have been in the starting team for many, but James Tedesco is your man there to take your 18th jersey in that team of the season for this year. So
yeah, hell of a player to miss out any 17 really.
Yeah, it's a great squad.
Yeah, it's all I can really say is well done to us for picking a great team each week.
We've managed to select a very good looking squad there to finish the season off, which is very great to see. So
Jacob Little sitting there just really quietly, stroking, rubbing his palms together.
No doubt about it.
I can't believe his lining up with the
position.
rest of these boys, but he's there on merit as well.
Yeah, very happy to be in that position, I'm sure. Old Jakey Little there. But that probably wraps up our rugby league coverage for 2024. There'll probably be some bits and pieces that we go on into over the next few months as we await that pre-season kick-off there. There is plenty of round ball though to get involved with. Not really over the next couple of weeks with another international break, but we have had 2 Arsenal games since we've last seen you, and really, if we wanted to brush over them, I wouldn't be disappointed. A pretty poor loss to Inter in the Champions League, and then a pretty lacklustre draw up against Chelsea, which we should have won.
Yeah, look, not too much point of going too in depth on this because we'll just depress ourselves. But yeah, not the best week for Arsenal for about the 3rd or 4th week in a row.
Champions League, not as phased. I mean,
not hugely phased. Obviously, want to get through in that.
Do I think we're one of those top 8 teams in Europe? Probably not. I think I can probably name 8 teams that are probably, especially right now at this time,
definitely
better than us. There's no doubt about it.
Start of the season,
we should have been in that equation, but I also think you've got teams like a Bayern Munich, who a Bayern, a Barca, a Real Madrid, who all should be in there. Someone there from Italy, I'm sure, like an Inter, Juventus, whoever you want to put in. PSG should be in there. Man City should be there before us probably, and Liverpool, maybe 8th.
Definitely now. I think at the start of the year you're looking definitely. Man City have been the best club in Europe for the. Maybe not in Europe, but just in general in Europe. The last 3 or 4 years. Probably level with Real Madrid there. You've obviously got Bayern. But yeah, I think start of the season you probably would have put us in and amongst it, top 8.
I don't mind rolling them in that little playoff round. There's no doubt about it. I don't mind if we won't qualify through there. But dropping 2 points to Chelsea when we're 1-0 up, where we probably should have gone away and saw the game off from there. No doubt, lovely goal there from Neto to equalise up against us, but we should have capitalised on it. Cole Palmer didn't really do much. We managed to shut him out of the game.
Palmer was very quiet. He had a couple of moments early on.
That was what I thought was going to be what won or lost the game for Chelsea. If he was on, there was nothing we were going to be able to do. I don't think defensively we've fallen off. We don't look as good going forward. We've really struggled for that bit of creative spark there in the middle.
We just don't have a number 9. Unfortunately, Kai Havertz had a really good streak of form at the start of the year, but seems to be that same argument coming back that has sort of reared its head for a while now. Is those games where we do dominate possession and don't make that extra goal, it comes back to haunt us. There was a huge moment at the end of the game there where we could have
the last play
stolen the 3 points. Trossard scuffing it.
That should have been a goal. It's
poor, but Chelsea had a couple of moments as well where they should have had goals. For Fofana blazing over the top
there, yeah.
Gusto missing that header from right in front.
It was definitely 2 teams. I mean, Chelsea, to be fair, actually been playing some good footy.
I don't think either team were near their best in this one. It was kind of a bit of a cagey affair.
I don't think either team deserved to win it really from what we saw. We should have gone out there and done it, but probably a pretty fair result. I think a shared game. Probably good timing, I think, with the international break for us. It's time to reset. Saka's not going away with England. I'm pretty sure Odegaard's not away with Norway. If we can keep a few players fit, and just get some good training under our belts, get a bit of stuff going as a team, and then, hopefully be able to get out there. What are we? Notts Forest first game back, is it?
Yeah, Nottingham Forest first game back at home. You'd like to hope Newcastle have sort of taken a little bit of the sting out of their sails.
But I wouldn't mind maybe if we won like 3-2 and Chris Wood scored a double at the Emirates.
I wouldn't mind. Cool. Maybe if it was 2 really sort of maybe unlucky goals from Arsenal's point of view, not poor defending.
Yeah, but maybe like just Chris Wood being an absolute beast and maybe out jumping someone at a corner even though that seems to be our sort of specialty, is those set pieces.
Huge jump. Where it was
Huge,
like,
like Ronaldo that time when he scored that header, and then maybe just like one.
Where he's like whipped it in from like 30 yards out, and he's totally marked.
Yeah, well, you let him skin someone. You know what I mean? You know, like he's not really a skinner. You know, but you know, you see him sort of just maybe get the ball, drop the shoulder, turn back out onto his right, and it's not really skinned anyone. It's just perfect placement. It's come in, you know, off the little, I don't know what you call it, but that little angle.
Intersection.
The intersection of the post there, and boom, in and out like sort of Lampard's goal in 2010. And it'd be cool.
It'd be cool from a Kiwi's point of view. Obviously, especially if it's, although if you're 3-0 up and you go to 3-2.
That's not the position you want to be in. No, not at all.
Being fast,
it's definitely good timing though. I think this break, come back.
It's good timing.
Come back refreshed.
It's 9 points out of the top spot, Liverpool at the moment. So pretty much rolls us out of any realistic title challenge at this stage.
I think we can nearly engrave a straight line on the trophy. Is a capital M straight? No, it's not.
No,
probably
it's
not
angled.
just yet. No, so it's probably a bit similar to that A. Yeah, I don't think it'll be long. I'd say the way that City are going at the moment, they don't have too many players.
We did see a little bit of a fall off from Liverpool at the end of last year. Whether or not that was emotional drain from
it could have been, you know, just that preparation for the slight turnaround. I think. Which we're seeing in full swing at the moment.
We're going to have to bank on something similar. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to claw them back regardless. But 9 points out, we're probably looking at just fending off the likes of even Chelsea and Nottingham Forest, Fulham, and then amongst that equation, lots of teams sort of from 19 down to Spurs in 16.
Yeah, it's a bit of a log jam at the moment. There's no doubt about it. So hopefully we can bounce back, get a little win there in the league. Then we come up against Sporting, fresh off losing Ruben Amorim, even though they're seeming to just be getting wins from all positions. Come back from 2-0 down the other day to win 4-2 in his last game there. So
hopefully the fact that he has gone will leave them in a bit of a hole, and we can capitalise.
Exactly, that's
pick up 3 points, and they don't build on that thrashing of Man City.
So that's the plan, I guess. Over the next week, no injuries over the break. Come back, 2 wins from 2, and sort of turn it around a little bit. And hopefully, we don't have any refs reffing our games like David Coates. That's outrageous.
That is just. I mean, obviously, it's by the looks of the video, he's just sitting there chatting shit with his mates after a few beers, or maybe a few too many beers.
I think he could be cooked, to be fair.
He looks like
he's had something. I reckon that's taken at like 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that's that kick on sort of thing. You know, you're sitting there on the couch and then you fucking, I could do this, and you know, and then you wake up in the morning and you got a hangover and you look at your bank account and you've spent $430 or quid, you know, the night before, and you go, I've got this fucking video of old mate here I could sell to the Sun, you know, because they'd be all over it over there, you know, the Sun. They're that newspaper. I remember my auntie used to send them over to my mum when I was younger, and it had those page 3 girls in them, and it was, you know, in your newspaper you get at the dairy, open up first page, you've got a chick with her tits out, and you're 12 or 13 and you're getting this shipped over from another country, and you're seeing that on not even magazine, like newsprint. Pretty outrageous as a little 12-year-old. There's no doubt.
Yeah, no, the Sun's definitely got a bit of a hectic reputation. So whether or not they're purchasing David Coote,
I think they'd definitely be, you know, that'd be
probably at the epicentre of this.
It'd be a leak. It'd be a leak. There's no doubt. I don't think it's going on something like, you know, what is that? Like the fappening or whatever, you know, where all those celebrities things seem to go out onto. I don't think you're getting out on that sort of thing.
It's not going any big sex tape sites.
It's not on that sort of stuff, but it's definitely down that route of,
I think it's doing the rounds
we'll get you 6 months worth of, you know, Greek sausage rolls, something like that. You know, I can see over in the UK maybe to get something like that out. But yeah, pretty big. Gone out, called Jurgen Klopp a cunt.
Called Liverpool shit.
Yeah, that's like the first thing you hear. What do you think of Klopp? Oh, he's a cunt, and you kind of go, wow.
He just goes on and on about it. It's like, to be fair, look, I heard a couple of British pundits talking about it. Yeah, look, refs are humans. They're going to find certain people.
Oh, players, especially if you're a dickbag.
Players, managers, other refs, you know, but like.
It's just a big thing to go out there
and be recording,
be throwing around in the public eye. I think, you know, that big C word. So yeah, it's definitely
it just like gives Liverpool every excuse in the book for any game that he's ever refereed.
100%. And we've seen some shockers from him. So it is definitely big. I think international break has come at a very good time for him as well. Possibly a very long, extended international break, I think, for Coop.
Yeah, don't know if we ever see him
probably not involved.
Premier League game.
Not involved anytime soon. That is for sure. Might be needing to pick up another sport. Maybe get involved in darts or something like that. You know, I could see a bit of that passion in there. You know, who knows? There's plenty of darts on at the moment if he is into darts for him to watch, because we do have the Grand Slam of Darts. I think I have that right there on at the moment, which is very, very cool setup. You've got groups of 4 like a World Cup, and I touched on this last week, where you play everyone once. You've got a mixture of players. We've seen Bo Greaves in there mixing it up with the men. Lawrence Illigan there from the Philippines. We've seen Luke Humphries, last year's reigning champion, knocked out in the group stages, which is just huge. Dave Chisnell, who was another favourite there to go on and win it, he's been knocked out in the group stages. So I believe everyone else who you're expecting to make it through still involved there. We have the last round of group games tomorrow, I believe, before we get into some knockout action. I think you're probably looking at someone like, I haven't looked at how the draw is, someone like an MVG, someone like a Luke Littler, Richie Edhouse, who went out there and won I can't remember what he won, the UK Open maybe a couple of weeks ago. He's in some very good form. He's made it through into the knockouts, and I don't think he's got the hardest sort of run through by the looks of the draw. But it's probably an MVG, it's probably a Littler. It makes sense Littler to go out there in his debut tournament and win it like he has with a few other things this year. So it wouldn't surprise me if that is what we see. I'm going to assume it must be Sunday morning, probably the final time. So it's a full week long. 8-9 days actually worth of darts, which is pretty cool, and it's on not a bad time over here from New Zealand. You know, sort of you can watch that evening thing if you're up very late, or you can watch their evening sort of shift as you're starting your day off at work. If you work from home, you get it on the TV at the same time. Pretty tasty looking combo there. So plenty of sport on at the moment, plenty of things to get involved with as always, but probably wraps us up for another week. So as always, if you've made it this far, thank you for getting involved, thank you for tuning in. Get in there on all your socials, give us a like, give us a comment, give us a subscription, give us a 5-star. Enjoy your week ahead, enjoy whatever sport you're getting involved with. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yep, we sure will. We'll see you then.
Ciao.
Marshall skips away, Marshall's still going, Marshall's got Richards coming up outside, now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Whips that one away, and Kane Williamson and his team now World Test champions.